Good night. We're here once again with another live. The Sports Frenzzyy live show is here once again, and this show is brought to you by Let's Care Medical. Let's Care Medical. Visit them at shop number 5 Juicy Plaza, Mandeville. And don't know already say the CEO himself is in the building tonight again. Shakes. Um, Tonight will be something different from the norm. Tonight we'll be starting off this live talking about a sport that a lot of people want to hear about that we have not touched on thus far, and I'm sure it's a sport that a lot of people are intrigued by. Tonight we'll be starting with some basketball. So, Shakes, a lot of action taking place in the basketball. A lot of trading took place as well. That has some people scratching their head and some saying that a certain man is a wimp because he run gone to an ex basically super team and he ran from a super team back a couple of years ago when in OKC. So basically gone over again. So we're talking about no other than James Harden, who is now at Brooklyn Nets to join up with Kevin Durant and a man a lot of people term as a diva, Kyrie Irving. Shakes, what do you make of the entire move? And a lot of people have been bashing it, saying that it's a stupid move. Reason being, Nets has gotten rid of basically all their defense and all their bench players. So they don't really have much to rely on, especially Jarrett Allen. He was so essential to them at the backcourt, and they have gotten rid of the youngster who is now at Cavaliers. And let's also point out that he was absolutely monstrous last night in Cleveland Cavaliers beating Brooklyn Nets. So Shakes, what do you make of the entire trade that
All
took
right, so
place?
the trade for James Harden. If I were general manager, I would have made that trade. But guess what? The pieces up, I wouldn't have given up those pieces. I would have given up Kyrie Irving in that trade and tried to keep Jared Allen primarily. No problem if you have to give up Kyrie plus Levert, plus Prince. I think there was another person that moved in that trade. I think one other person moved. But in terms of the primary players, I would have given up Kyrie and kept Jared Allen. Why? Because he would have provided some solid defensive framework for them. As it's currently constructed, they just have firepower. So they have a lot of ammunition, but they have no real defense. In that match last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers, that's exactly what happened. There was no defense. So Sexton, he just went off, scored 20 points. He literally scored 20 points straight in that match to give them the win. At one point in the second overtime, they were leading by 12, I believe. Yeah, 20 points straight because really and truly, there was no primary defender to stop him. So for me, evaluating the team itself, um, I see them getting to the conference finals in the East. Um, in the playoffs, basketball slows down. I still believe that they might come up short against the Miami Heat or Milwaukee.
So Shakes, here's Darnell Twisted Edwards in the comment section saying that the lack of defense was shown in the last game. So basically, he's agreeing with what you just said. Um, Jason, the entire the Blockbuster trade that took place. What do you make of it?
Um, a lot of players involved. I think it was four. It was a lot of players between four teams. Um, for me, I think Oladipo going to Houston was a good acquisition. I think on his debut he scored at 34 points, almost at a triple double performance. But for me, I think it doesn't do enough for the Nets to propel them where they want. I know there's a lot of talks surrounding a big three, but it's a lot more than just putting three superstars together and just expecting them to, propel the team to a championship. It's going to take a lot more. And based on their debut, especially when they come up against the better teams that are considered in the NBA, their defense will surely be a letdown. Of course, they are offensive superpower. They have three very much elite scorers. But I agree with Shakes. For me, I wouldn't be surprised to see if they don't even make the conference finals. That's how big it is for me. Because for some reason, and this might sound a bit controversial, I probably even put maybe even Boston over them. But I'm going to have to take a lot more. It's going to take a lot more for me to evaluate them. That was just one game. I'm going to use probably maybe about April before me start judge them fully to see exactly where they are at in comparison to the rest of the league.
All right. So with that being said, though, Shakes and I was having a conversation off air, and it started from last night after the live that was finished, and we were talking about Kyrie Irving place in this team, and him being a ball hog tends to won't work with this Brooklyn Nets team because it will take too much minutes at the time, because I know that Kyrie is a man that loves to dribble beat 2-3 players before he actually can take a shot, while you know that Durant in a sense can just catch and shoot. Harden in a sense can do it every now and then, but Harden is also a ball hog if you check the levels.
Mm.
So with all that, you don't think that will somewhat, in terms of it will stop their attacking prowess from fully coming through, because since as technically I can say both all three of them are some ball dominating players, you won't think that will somewhat hinder each other.
I mean, for all of the great dynasties over the years, they've always had that superstar on the team, that go-to player. I remember there was this question that was asked that if the Nets are, let's say the Nets are 2 points down with 15 seconds to go and they are in possession and they have the three superstars on the field, who will be the one to take the last shot? And I thought about it. I thought about it. Of course, I mean, KD would probably be 9 out of 10 everybody's pick to take that last shot. But when you have somebody with such, would I want to say selfish skills, with such selfish skills like Kyrie and James Harden. I mean, granted, when they come off, they do come off. But I agree that it kind of stunts the offensive output a bit when you have so much players who are just so willing to be having the ball, spending so much time with possession of the ball. It kind of hampers the chemistry a bit, the teamwork aspect, and it kind of takes away the output from the rest of the team. It's like at some what you don't want to do, you don't want it to be a case of having those three players and they are having the rest of the nets. And maybe that is what the biggest concern or the biggest danger of what it is. So yeah, I would agree that it stunts their offensive output a bit.
All right, so Bones, have you been taking in the basketball?
So to be honest,
Mike,
me
your mic.
don't watch. Yeah, hear me?
Come on, go ahead now.
Yeah, to be honest, me don't watch basketball until the next round though. Me just
All right.
can't bother with this around. And it's
Too much
too
games to follow, Bones.
Yeah, man. We just wait till at the next round before we start watching it.
All right,
Honestly.
boss man. So, all right, Shakes, you've seen the defending champions. Do you think they have it within their locker to go for back-to-back championship?
I do
With
because
with the acquisitions that they have made and with the people that they have kept, do you think they can go on to win it?
I do. Why? Because they have good chemistry. And I think the chemistry is what is going to propel whichever team you want to pick to the championship. What people don't realize is that sooner rather than later, the NBA might end up back in a bubble for those playoffs. Because whereas these are regular season games, So if you miss game here and there, okay, it might not matter significantly. But you see, when you get to playoffs, you don't want to hear that, oh, Kevin Durant or LeBron James have to sit out for 10 days because of COVID safety protocols, right? You don't want to hear that a mainstay on any team has to stay out for any prolonged period because they might have come into contact with somebody, even though they're rolling out the vaccine in America. But in terms of to limit any spread in any team, or just when rival teams come against each other, um just to decrease that chance, they might end up in a bubble.
Yeah.
Lakers, their chemistry is gonna be very important once they end up back in a bubble. The new players, they have been gelling well. Yeah, they don't have the greatest home record right now, 4-4. But they have a very good away record. Fans not there. As I said, if you're in a bubble, you're not really gonna have fans, so it won't really matter. You're just playing for the cameras. So for me, I see the Lakers repeating. Um, if I were to pick a team, yeah, I'm going to agree with Jason and say that, boy, I wouldn't be surprised if the Nets actually do make it to the conference finals, because once again, you see, because so many teams have been affected by COVID and you're going to have that continuing, the seeding for the playoffs might not be how it normally is in previous years, right? So, for example, Brooklyn might be the best team on paper in the East, or the second best team overall in the East, but guess what? They might finish fourth or fifth because some players might be missing, and then you end up with a second round matchup that is gonna be tough. But for me, I see Lakers winning.
All right, Jason. Based on what you have seen thus far, and with all the acquisitions that have been made, who you see being challengers for reaching both conferences final?
Um, my prediction for the East, my top two are always Miami and Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee was they were a bit unlucky last year. I believe they had the best record in the East, best record overall last year. But I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Giannis. And I mean, it's warranted because he's a superstar of the team, and that's the main criticism. I see a lot of former NBA players and pundits alike coming out and saying that Giannis is possibly the easiest superstar to guard because you pretty much know what you're getting from him, and all of that. But he will believe. There was a lot of talk about whether he was going to leave Milwaukee over the summer, and all of that. He ended up staying, signing that contract. So he himself feels that he has something to prove. So he is going to be expected to take Milwaukee to that Eastern Conference Finals, and hopefully the NBA Finals. So those are my two. As I said, Boston will challenge. Um, the Nets, regardless, they will challenge. They will put up a fight. They might get to the conference finals as suggested by many. They might not, as suggested by Sheiks. So, um, for the West, I
But
think
hold
the
on a
Lakers.
second, though, Jason, before we reach to the West. Why is it that up to this point I haven't heard you mention 76ers any at all? You don't think they
Yeah,
stand a chance?
exactly.
For me, boy, Ben
Ben can't shoot.
Simmons, Ben
Say it,
Simmons. There's
Jason.
a lot of hitting around him. I know I think he's in this heat with Shaq. I believe they say that he's just ordinary. He hasn't improved. He's consistent,
I
but he just
guarantee you the
hasn't
Sheiks
gone
agree
to
with
that
you.
further. But he just has. I mean, I wouldn't be so harsh. I wouldn't be so harsh on him. And I think their acquisition of Dwight Howard will help them. And of course, I have to big up Doc Rivers as well. He has experience. experience all around the NBA took the Celtics to that championship in 2008. So I cannot discount them, but I don't have them in the conference finals. I don't know if Shakes is a Philly fan. That's why I'm shaking him head. Or is a Ben Simmons fan. I
No man,
don't know.
hold on a second, Jason. Let me
No, I was agreeing with you.
point this out to our viewers, and also for who doesn't know. Shakes is a LeBron James fan. He's not a fan of any basketball team. He's just LeBron. Anywhere LeBron there, that team of him.
Oh,
Yeah.
But all right, finish up on the West Conference now, Jason.
For the West, Lakers are strong favorites. Strong favorites. Are trying to see how great playoff P will be. He's been very good in the regular season so far. But of course in the playoffs was where he was erroneously judged and he had a very poor playoffs by his standards. And of course the Clippers themselves are going to want to have something to prove with the claw as well. But the Lakers, for me, I agree with Shakes. I expect them to repeat the chemistry, and of course LeBron James is just going to want to get one more ring on his finger. So I expect the Lakers to retain.
All right, in terms of Golden State, because I know there are a lot of interest in that team. No matter if the man them team
Of course,
depleted
of
or whatnot,
course.
there's
Like,
still lots of
yeah.
interest. All right, Jason, how you see them stacking up this season?
Boy, Steph Curry just a walking highlight reel. Like that behind the back off the dribble catch and shoot.
Pure off the dribble,
The
bro.
man is just peak. I mean, he's the first player in NBA history to be unanimously voted as a season MVP. The man is just brilliant, man. Brilliant. I think between him and Kelly Oubre and Wiseman, they just miss Klay Thompson, man. They miss him. So it's at the start of the season, it's always been a debate about whether Curry will have enough help without Thompson. I know the Splash Brothers have always put in a great performance with Draymond Green as well, in addition. Golden State will make the playoffs. I don't know how my father and I are well, my father is a bigger basketball fan than I am. He predicted them to actually make the conference finals. I am not so sure, but I wouldn't be surprised either. Because once you have a player like Curry in your team, trust me, I think anything is possible. With his shooting prowess, at any given point in time, he can just go literally off. And you saw that in his 60-odd point performance
All right.
about a week and a half ago. So they'll be good. They'll be good.
But all right, Jason, with you saying that, Shakes and I again, we're having a discussion about that same thing, and we have been saying that, all right, Steph Curry going off, yes. However, when I look at GSW this season so far, there's no player on that roster who is averaging over 20 points outside of Steph. Everybody has been below par because Wiggins is averaging 17.5, right?
17.8.
17.8. Kelly Oubre is averaging around 15, if 15, I
12.
think, if me serve see it, me even
12.
have game overs. 12. Brother, those are two men that should be giving you way more than that. So, alright, let me say it exactly like how Shake said. In order for GSW to make it forward, Andrew Wiggins or Kelly Oubre has to go. And even though James Wiseman has been brilliant for the league, for GSW so far, Shake is saying that he would add him to the package and try to get one superstar either between Giannis, get him out of the contract, or Dancic.
Yeah, I literally thought when all that talk came around with Giannis looking to possibly leave Milwaukee, I thought that Golden State was going to be the team for him. I literally thought that was going to be the updated roster. It just didn't work. It surprised me, to be honest, that he stayed with Milwaukee. I don't know if he's trying to avoid the tag of being that superstar who had to join other superstars to win a franchise. I'm not sure if that's what he's trying to avoid. But I literally, I agree. As I said before, I think Curry will miss Klay Thompson because he does need that help. As brilliant as he is, he does need that help. So I agree that an additional superstar would have been key for him. I think probably him and Doncic on the same team would probably be a little bit too unfair. But
So hold on. You're telling me that a man like LeBron and AD together isn't unfair. A pair like Harden and Durant together isn't unfair.
I
Come
agree.
on, man.
No,
Come
no,
on.
well,
I would have wanted to see that.
that team with the Nets offensively is unfair, but the defense, the Lakers is more of an example because they have both offensive and great defensive capabilities. So that is where the difference comes in. But yeah, I would have loved if Giannis went there. If I had to pick between the two, I would have preferred Giannis because in some people's minds they have Doncic as the replacement for LeBron when he leaves.
Brother. Take it as I tell you, JSW fan. Disclaimer. Dancing to Warriors. That's what I want to
Never
see, man. When I
happened.
want to see Giannis over here, man, I Dancing to want to see.
Never happened.
But over to Shakes now. Shakes, Eastern Conference, yes, making the finals.
All right, so Jason, well, you were asking about the 76ers, right? And Jason thought that I was saying no to his 76ers thing. I guess he thought I was a 76ers fan, right? But I was actually agreeing with him about Ben Simmons because Ben has not improved. So yes, Embiid has been going off night after night after night, but guess what? Ben Simmons has not improved in the NBA. That is the problem. So I
Stick up
believe
in
that they can
Shakes. Shakes, stick up in why Ben Simmons still taking 3-pointers?
go again. Why he's not, or
Why is he still taking 3-pointers?
oh, I don't know, because I guess he's listening to the media and people just want him to shoot 3-pointers. Everybody wants him to learn how to shoot because
I
you see his framework, right? His height, his wingspan, his basketball abilities. The only thing missing from his game is knowing how to shoot. And basketball is
yeah.
all about shooting, especially the modern NBA. So the fact that he lacks it is what has propelled Luka Doncic ahead of him right now. And Ben Simmons came into the league with more ratings than Luka. But guess what? Everybody talking about Luka for league MVP even this year. Nobody's talking about Ben Simmons even as the best player on his team.
But all on this Shakes. You mentioned Dancic. However, my name not mentioned Ja Morant has been the man of MVP this season. So Ben Simmons totally way down the line. As a Ja Morant just come in the league.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have so many players that are going to move ahead of him simply because they can shoot. So even Ja Morant, Ja Morant is not an MVP type player right now, but guess what? You're seeing the potential because he's able to shoot, plus he's able to get to the basket, right? Man has some crazy hops, right? That's what modern NBA is all about. As I said, being able to shoot. So it's a shooter's league, as they always say right now. So if you can't shoot the basketball, especially if you can't shoot at least um 3 threes per night and make them, it's pointless because twos can't win a basketball game anymore. Twos used to win the basketball games in the 90s and early 2000s. But since Steph Curry and the Warriors have revolutionized basketball, the game has changed. LeBron had to change his game, right? So many of these teams, if you realize, even that same 76ers team, look at the pieces around Embiid and Simmons. You realize they have shooters because prior to the Brooklyn trade, 76ers would have been looking at Milwaukee as the benchmark. They're just trying to overcome Milwaukee, right? In getting to the conference finals and trying to get to the NBA finals. But for me, it's all about Ben Simmons. If he does not improve his game, 76ers 'ers can't make it to the NBA finals. It don't matter what NBA does on the court.
All right, so Shakes, we're going to wrap up on the basketball soon. So tell me your two for the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, my two. Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat.
Whoa. Wow.
That's left field. I know that's
Wow.
left field. But Boston Celtics and Miami Heat.
Controversial much, but the thing is that you have been on farm for the longest while now, so it's worth the
Don't be
gamble.
surprised. As I said, the seedings will knock out a very big team in the second round. So
Alright.
one team can get a quick walk to the finals.
How about the Western Conference?
West. Lakers, of course, with for some strange reason. All right. I can give you two options.
Brother, you're a brave man and you're not afraid to call. Go ahead and call it.
All right. So if the Mavs can stay fit, meaning Porzingis can stay fit, it will be a Mavs Lakers finals. If Porzingis does not stay fit, it will be a Lakers Portland finals.
Bones, your take for Eastern Conference. Which two finalists you see?
I mean, I follow it, you know. You ask me this, box. You put me on the
Don't
top,
you
man.
No, man, off the top of your head, boss, man. Who do you see being the two finalists? Because it's personal picking up opinion.
Yeah, man. That's your round.
Two side Bones. Just call two
So
side.
Eastern you talk about, right?
Just the Arsenal.
No, man. No. I mean, no. The Heat and we are gonna go with the 76ers, obviously. Me can't leave the 76ers out of my prediction.
What about the Western Conference?
No, but them for me are going to win the entire championship.
Oh, I didn't get that. Mike gone again, boss man. The mic.
Yeah, hear me now?
Yeah.
The internet are going out. Yeah, may I say Lakers are going to win the overall championship. That's my prediction, right?
Okay.
So yeah, obviously them are going to come out, and we're going to have Warriors to come out as well.
All right, so that's a wrap on the basketball. We're not going to touch on some track and field, and we have a guest in the building, a man that is closely associated with Calabar School, Craig Coyote Francis. Welcome to the building, boss man.
Good evening, everyone, and others in studio are here.
All right, so the issue on hand, and let me read the press briefing that I saw. Calabar High will announce the formation of its track club, Legacy Athletics, on yesterday, in which that was yesterday. Among the club's major signings are Michael Bentley, Drew Levy, Tyreek Wilson, Anthony Carpenter, Dejua Russell, Crystal Morrison, and Malik James King. Chairman of Calabar High, Carl Johnson, is also chairman of the new club with school principal Albert Carcho as one of the directors. Andre Hardware, who is team manager at Calabar High, will be Legacy Athletics president and CEO, while Omar Ace will be a director, head coach, and technical leader. He will be in charge of the sprints. Hayes, who is also a sergeant in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, is a certified World Athletics and USATF Level 1 coach. He will be assisted by Nick Morrison, 400 meter, 400 hurdles, Nicholas Newfield, horizontal jumps and sprints, and Craig Sewell, sprint hurdles and sprints. The club will focus on athlete representation, coaching services, and personal and professional development. The club website stated that Jamaica has a long and impressive tradition of world-class sporting performances, especially in athletics, and the principals of Legacy Athletics feel particularly blessed to have direct and indirect associations with the Calabar High School, which has contributed immensely to Jamaica's sporting prowess. Legacy will now join a host of other Jamaican clubs, including MVP, Racers, Sprintec, and the recently formed Titans. The club stated that we will be playing our part in minimizing the number of young persons who fall through the cracks of our traditional educational and socio-economic systems. So we saw that briefing earlier yesterday. Now, we brought you to give us
Let me first say that statement, I'm not sure where it is from or who put that statement out, but the first thing is the beginning of the statement is incorrect. And that's the one something starts, it ends bad. Calabar did not start a track club. As I said yesterday, Calabar High School is in no way, shape, or form a part of Legacy Track Club. They are not financially, they are in no way a part of club. What they have is what you would call an arm's length arrangement, arm's length business, as would if Legacy decide that they want to move their training base to, as many people do, to the Stadium East. They'll call Mr. Brown and make some financial arrangement as to what's the cost. So there's a currently there is a contract in place as to legacy of the track and the facilities at Calabar. So it is not a Calabar track club. It just happened that Legacy is hosted there. That is one. And two, many of the persons who are part of Legacy are Calabar old boys, and they would have been friends. Most of the coaches are old boys. My friends, most of them are not. The chairman is a Calabar old boy. Philip Williams is a Calabar old boy. So who is the secretary? She's the wife of the president. So it just so happened that these people are affiliated with, but in Norway, it is not a Calabar track club. So we can disabuse our minds of that notion. It is not a Calabar club.
All right. I have one question that I want to really ask you, because
Sure.
I see it being circulating all around social media that the people that form Legacy Track Club
Yes.
teamed up against one Michael Clark to throw a track club right through the window. So basically, I must say, yo, Legacy box the food out of Akan mouth. Do you agree with that notion?
No, that people seem to be getting these information. And what is funny, they are not. And I don't know. You see, we have a culture in Jamaica. Something you're having your TV now. You set the TV. If I go ahead and start the same thing, you're gonna hear that I'm trying to box food out of your mouth. I may just think that you have a good product, and I start it as well. It's what we do. And what is funny is people buy the same shoes. We all love the Jordans, and everybody buy Jordans. It's not because I see X-Man buy, but the fact of the matter is, let me go to the head. Carl Johnson, chairman of Calabar. I know well, and I talked to. The chairman has been interested in he's a sports enthusiast. He loves track and field, and it's always wanted to do. Likewise, Philip Williams, who I've spoken to, they have decided that they want a track club for whatever reason. And the thing is, Akan Track Club is still about. So there is still. So you have Akan, which is operated by Michael Clark, and now you have Legacy Athletic Limited, because it's a liability company with the directors who have put their monies in, and believe me, they have put a lot of money in it. It's a first club in terms of the professionalism and what is going to happen. So it's not, and funny enough, people are saying, why the track club and it's a Calabar club. Let us look at some things. And I know I'm not sure if I answered your question adequately, but I want to go back to the first question as to the Calabar club. Legacy trains at a separate time from Calabar. Legacy trains in the early morning. The boys train at afternoon. Legacy and Calabar, there's no commingling. So at Calabar, the track and field program is still run and headed by coach Sir Michael Clark. He writes the program, he oversees the program, he administers the program for the Calabar track and field team. He is the boss over there. Over at Legacy, Omar House is the head coach, a director, and he's in charge of the overall.
All right, I'm glad you touched on that, because my question to you now is that, isn't Omar House part of the Calabar coaching setup.
He is the assistant
So
coach.
wouldn't that somewhat bring somewhat of a contradictory in terms of
No,
remember
no,
that?
no. Let me tell you why. What Omar Halls does is as he is instructed by Michael Clark. The programs are written by Michael Clark. Every facet of Calabar, from the high jump, the distance, Michael Clark writes all the programs. He's even involved in the hurdles and the throws. So he is in charge. He writes a program, how the periodization operates. So Omar Halls carries out that duty. Legacy, he now writes the programs. He decides how the periodization is. He is in charge here. So it's two. He does not write programs at Calabar. He writes the programs for himself and his other coaches now. So he is in charge of that. So it is, put this way, if a policeman is working and he's a sergeant and he has his boss who is an inspector and he has a security company, he's a boss at his security company. His boss from work can't tell him not know I'm security company.
Well,
They're similar in what they do. But once he gets to his business, which is his security company, he's the head honcho, he runs things. His boss can't tell him. When he come to work, his boss tell him.
all right. I get what you're saying now, but
Yes.
I look at it from this standpoint where I said the contradiction would come in. What if there are athletes at Calabar, for instance, that Michael Clark might be looking at it from a standpoint and say, you know that I would love this athlete to come to my club, in which that's the Hay Contract Club, while Omar Azar, whoever is in charge of legacy athletics, want that same athlete to come to their club. How that would balance out, boss? Because immediately now, that would
Let me
bring
tell you.
infighting.
No,
Craig, a signal is going, boss.
all right, you hear?
Yeah, man, you're in now.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay. Check. Everybody's hearing me?
I hear you, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. I was saying, let us go back 2 years, a year and a half. The young man that came from nowhere that no one knew that went into the stadium and ran 10-3, 10-3, 10-1. I recruited that young man. I wanted that young man to stay in school another year. He and I spoke. But I want him to stay another year. He decided, no, Aiken wanted him. Racers wanted him. There was no, he decided with his family where he was. MVP wanted him. So too did Aiken. So too did he was offered scholarship.
Hold on a second though. But all right, Craig, I get what you're saying, but you're still straying from the point. All those clubs wanted him, they had nothing to do. Hold on, man. They have nothing to do with Calabar. We're talking about two men who are directly involved with Calabar. In Michael Clark, the head coach of A Contract Club, and Omar Haz, the head coach of Legacy Athletics. Those are two men that work together. So we're not talking about MVP out there in our races. We're talking about two men that are directly part of Calabar that has two clubs that's, in essence, associated with Calabar.
Associated by the fact that they're old boys. All right. What I'm saying, Lavon, it is there are professionals. There are two track clubs, and what I put out there around now, quite a years, right? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Where is at what club is Michael O'Hara? What club did he choose leaving Calabar on top of his game? Where did he go? He didn't stay at
Calabar. Yeah, I understand that.
Right, no. We can go through Christopher Taylor. The point I'm making is what we are doing, we're minimizing the mental capacity of the students to make a choice for themselves. I work with them every day. If a young man wants to go to college, he's going to go to college, and nothing any old boy tell him. Because any amount of old boy can find that going to tell him to go pro, he's going to find an equal amount that's going to tell him to go to college. So, and they have their own ideas as to what they want to do. I am saying they're in a professional environment. And let me just say this, so, because this is something, and I got to step back now and put on my old boy hat. If while young men are at school training as a part of Calabar track team, there is infighting from Legacy and Akon, which I don't expect to happen. I am going to be the first one to step in and say this can't work. Because you do not interfere with the young men. Talk to them if you want after. It won't work. And I'm saying to you, I am fairly certain and I'm not certain, I'm fairly confident that based on the professionalism of the leadership of Legacy, we have the chairman who is a man of impeccable character and integrity. We have Andrea Hardware, we have Omar. The leadership is of such an integrity and professionalism that I am not expecting of behavior. It would be surprising to me if that happened.
All right, so Craig, the final question to you now is what is your overall view on Legacy Athletics, the club itself? Want your personal view?
All right, like I said, and I think I like the setup of the club. One thing is, the professionalism that's there. It is a composite, and you should go to the site and look at who is there. It is a composite of all professionals. Most of them, the top of the game in terms of what they do. We have the leader, Mr. Carl Johnson, Reverend Johnson, who is of impeccable character and integrity. Likewise, the other people who are there. Mr. Halls is a wonderful coach. He has been making strides over the years and he has grown in his craft. And he has a specific way, how he gets to young people, especially boys. So I am thinking the club should make some roads and some inroads very quickly. In the same way, Swell, who is also a part of the setup, got Orlando to make the national team after only 1 year of leaving school. I so believe in them. So a good club, good move, and it's one more club on the landscape that we have of track and field in Jamaica. And as I said, it's another option.
All right, so thanks for coming through and clearing up things somewhat. Even though you're still straight from the point about the infighting, you're still going on the question. Don't think that I forget that you're going on it, but
no, what you want. No, I've answered the question, but not satisfactorily how you want. I am saying to you.
No, man.
No, what I'm saying to you is this. I am not anticipating any infighting. And you might say, why? And I said that to you.
Trust me, no, boss, man. It will happen.
No,
we know this culture.
No, man, I'm saying that start to happen. Something have to give. And I'll be one of the first persons in line at the principal's office and calling the chairman to say something has got to happen.
All right. Make sure you stick to your word now, boss.
No, man. No.
As we say now. Thanks. All right. Thanks for passing through and clearing up things somewhat, because there are a lot of things going around in the media circle. So thanks for clearing up them somewhat. And again, respect for
Calabar is a news brand.
and don't let this be the last time you come on the show, because there's been more chat that will be discussed. So yeah, man, respect for pass through, boss.
All right, man.
All right, so guys, we are now being joined by Stephen Gerard Ling, a Liverpool supporter, a big West Indies fan. Welcome to the building, boss, man. Stephen?
Yeah, you don't see nothing now going for Liverpool fan them. Man.
All right, so we're just going to move over into some football. And earlier on today, we saw Liverpool getting Bob Marleyed by Burnley. Hot 1-0 in the 83rd minute, and I'm sure everybody on this panel is happy.
No,
Steve, you there?
in or out, man. In or out. Am I
Steven?
here?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
All right, boss man. We see your team get beaten today, so we need you on board to talk about that match, you know.
I'm hearing you. Come on, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, yeah. Things just not going our way. You know, things just not going our way. Thing I saw with my team.
Yeah, Steven, start out your connection and return. So anyways, Shakes. I'm sure we were pretty happy about the result, and I'm sure you for one was one that was saying that Liverpool, well, I don't need to say anymore. Here it is up by the hashtag Liverpool to finish outside the top four. From the last night you've been saying it, and you also said it to Demo on the live. Oh, Shakes, what did we saw today?
Yeah, so it's not about getting it right because the season has not ended. It's just starting to see the painting, right, on the wall. So last night when we came on the show, remember I had this hashtag Liverpool to finish outside the top four. I was even telling Demo before the show that guess what? They'll be very lucky to finish in the top four. Today's game, Burnley played to their strengths. Burnley played to uh uh, uh boy, how to put it now? It's not just their strengths, but you see in that first half, Burnley had some good chances where if they were a little bit more ambitious, they could have actually sneaked a goal even before Origi got that massive chance, right? But guess what? It's Divock Origi. What do you expect? Is Divock
Stop it.
Origi still supposed to be at Liverpool? Yes, I mean he might have scored against Barcelona when they went on in the Champions League, but come on. Is Divock Origi supposed to be your backup striker at Liverpool if you're trying to challenge for big titles year in year out? No,
No.
not for me, right? Yeah, I used to cuss Man U about the same thing. You can't have substandard players in the team. You always have to have good players to challenge the front liners. He's the one that cost Liverpool that game today. It's as simple as that. Because guess what? If he had scored that goal going into the halftime break, Liverpool would have come out and just steamroll Burnley. Versus going at 0-0, Burnley went. The coach was able to talk to them and say, "Oh, guess what? We're in the game. They're not really penetrating where they're getting clear-cut chances because that chance that Origi got was actually a defensive error, right? So they played well to I said for Burnley. Liverpool, boy, it's going downhill for them. But as I said, the writing is on the wall. The Liverpool fans are going to be hopeful. I see Natalie saying that all of a sudden Man U have a good team. No, we're not saying Man U has a good team. But guess what? As Levon and I were discussing earlier, at BVB, this is Borussia Dortmund, it went downhill for Klopp after 3 seasons.
All right, hold on, Shakes, point out exactly what happened in that season with BVB. What had happened was that Klopp started complaining about everything. He started complaining about the
Everything.
grass, the wind. The man find everything to complain about that season when it went downhill for him at BVB. Look at Klopp this season for Liverpool.
You
Everything that
realize you
anytime.
realize you realize that Klopp in even an interview, he wasn't even playing Manu and he was commenting about Manu. When really and truly is Klopp supposed to be worried about Manu as the number one challengers, or is he supposed to be worried about Man City as the number one challengers? Because for me, Man City are actually the favorites for the Premier League. Because if they actually get back Sergio Aguero and he can come back and play and find some good form, I don't see any team stopping them. So yeah, he's complaining day in, day out. Even complaining about Manu when he's not playing against Manu. But you see, Klopp says he doesn't play mind games. No, he doesn't play mind games. He plays the worrying games, the complaining games, right? So because he knows that he's up against it at this time, he's gonna find every single excuse in the world. Plus, he's trying to deflect attention off the players.
All right, Shakes, hold on a second, because I'm going to jump over to Bones right now. This stats, right?
Mhm.
Liverpool has gone 4 Premier League games without a goal. 72 shots on goal, and again, 0 goal. This is their worst scoreless league run since 2000. Now, here's a Liverpool fan in the comment section, Natalie Palmer. Here saying, we lose 3 games and we'll say we are go downhill. It's not about losing. Have you
Can I
seen how your
address
team
that?
has been playing? All right, Shakes, take it on.
Can I address that? Because that's exactly what I just read. But if Natalie actually knew her team, she would have known that since November 28th, Liverpool have played 10 EPL games since November 28th. They have only won 3. So I'm not talking about 3 games. I'm talking about 10 matches. Liverpool have won 3. They have lost 3 and they have drawn the others. Right? So it's not 3 games we're talking about. We're talking about a 10-game span where it has been going downhill.
But to take Natalie's comment though, would she have said that? Would she have made that comment if it was another team?
Absolutely not.
You get what I mean?
It's something that I've come to realize in the Bones that is when it comes down to Liverpool supporters, they are very touchy.
Yeah, they're very touchy. But
if you speak
no, go ahead.
If you touch on their team, they tend to go into this shell like everybody is against them. And like what you're saying is actually nonsense. And we have a Liverpool man in the building, and his connection was poor, but we hopefully can get him through now. Stephen, what do you make of the Liverpool farm right now?
I'm saying today, I could not curse I couldn't curse them. Party fighting instead of playing side to side and trying to cross ball. Actually try to lines. It just didn't work for them. They actually tried to be positive. The Thiago was positive. Actually, every time they got the ball, they tried to be positive, to run off the ball. The defenders were doing very well. It's just not happening for us. And probably hope other teams can get this blip at the end of the season.
But Steve, with what you just said, right? Do you have any sort of idea that Trent attempted around 20 crosses today, and it's only 1 was successful? Jason, you can't correct me if I'm wrong, but I read it somewhere that was
I saw. But probably would have been 40. It probably would have been 40 in another game. I actually him looking for off the ball across and everything. Across the penalty spot, which any textbook coach will tell you, the byline, the ball to the penalty spot. There was just nobody there. Just everything. They won the first in the box. I mean, just for us, for whatever reason.
But all right, not only today alone, Stephen. Hasn't your farm over the past, say, as Shakes pointed out, from November 28th, come on, 10 games, 3 wins, 3 losses, 4 draws. Hasn't that somewhat bothered you as a Liverpool fan?
Of course, I was telling some friends today that I'm going to get my gravel in case I want to vomit. In case I say all of these crosses coming in. How do they get the ball? They cross the ball. And all you have to do is put 2 banks of 4 in the 18-yard box, and between 25 to 18 yards, all you have to do is put a 4. It's easy. And Klopp has realized that, and he tried something today. That's why I said today's performance I can't really curse them. They're pretty much one-dimensional. Talking about Van Dijk defensively, we're not that poor since he has been injured. We're not that poor, you know.
That's true. That's true.
Up front with one-dimensional.
So let me point out
One
something else about the Liverpool team, right? Because clearly Natalie thinks that I'm just hating on the Liverpool team. But the facts are there. So you can go and look for yourself. So since Liverpool, they have played Everton, they haven't conceded more than one goal. They haven't conceded more than one goal. So even without Van Dijk, defense problem. Their problem, as I said on the live yesterday to Demo before he had to go, the biggest problem is the forward line. There is a problem between Mo Salah and Sadio Mane. Klopp somehow just can't fix that. So even in the game today, if the Liverpool fans and others were watching the game, Mo Salah passed the ball to Mane one time in the box. One. I'm sure Steven saw it. One time. That was it. And he came on as a sub to come and impact the game and score. I'm not saying that he didn't try, but he only passed the ball to Mane one time. Now, if you are trying to get a goal to win, because remember, you know, this was actually a must win for Liverpool. It might look that way, you know, but when you really go back and check the fact that 9 games prior, you only won 3 games out of the 9. You basically know that Man City have a game in hand. You had to win this game today, especially because looking at the fixtures that are coming up, you have Tottenham and Man City to come in the next few weeks. So it's a must win. You didn't even want to draw for this game. And not only that, lastly, when you look at their away form versus their home form, Liverpool has actually accumulated those 34 points simply on home form, not away form. So if your home form, suppose they start losing at home.
Yeah, man, Steven, come through.
No, man, I just want to ask or to think about it. How much has the lack of fans really affected the psychology of Liverpool team? Has anybody even really looked into that? Because I mean, even when their fans go away, they feed on the energy. Even when they don't they find a way to put motivation in front of them to win.
Steven,
anyway,
hold on a second, Steven. I can debunk that point easily. I can say that every top club is not getting the wins because fans are not in stadium. So don't come with Liverpool alone.
Yeah, not Liverpool alone.
And why I wouldn't agree with that.
Probably something more than some.
And why I wouldn't agree with that is because for England, you know, you have different tiers. So you only have some places that allow fans. Liverpool was actually one club that were allowed fans in their ground.
They were the last. Yeah, they were the last.
No, but I'm saying, as in, they have fans. Man U and Man City don't have any fans in the ground.
Yeah, probably
we're not quite hearing it clearly.
To go without fans. No, I'm saying that probably Man U and City are stronger mentally. Probably our boys are just not tough enough without that set of motivation around them. Probably
madness.
I don't know.
You're champion.
Just wondering.
Madness.
So Levon, don't leave out this comment from Roger Mills where he's saying that you're turning Klopp with the excuses because that's exactly what Stephen is doing.
Exactly.
Oh, Stephen, hold on. What did you drink before you come on the show? How can you say that?
I'm just wondering.
Wondering? Come on. They lost the league by 1 point 3 seasons ago. They won the league last season. They won the Champions League 2 seasons ago.
And about mental capacity.
Mentally, come on. You have the primary players that are still there. It's only Van Dijk that is not there. Plus you brought in Thiago,
Hold on,
who
Shakes.
is
Stick
a
up in,
winner.
Shakes. Shakes, stick up in. They also added Thiago, who won
Yes, I
Bundesliga
say
and
they brought
Champions League
Thiago,
last
that's a
season.
winner. He has won numerous trophies. So what you
Exactly.
talking about mentality? No, man, it can't be mentality.
I know no have to do with
You
mentality.
start well. I wouldn't
Madness.
even say you start sound like Klopp in terms of the excuses. You start sound like Mourinho now, like creating
All right, so
something out of nothing.
so Jason, up to now we haven't heard your take on this entire situation with Liverpool, and again, as I said, I'm sure you're happy because being a United fan and Liverpool losing, especially losing that, as they call it, that win record and unbeaten streak at their fortress, we're all happy about that. So, Jason, what's your take?
You know, you may not see it on my face, but I am very happy. But you know, at the end of the and Demo have all right not to be here
Right.
because I mentioned to Demo yesterday
He's
that
here. He's
ever
here.
since me see it, man,
He's right
ever
here. He's
since
here.
ever since Liverpool confirmed the league title last season, they have regressed. And Demo told me it coming like a madness me attack when I explained that to him. Liverpool have regressed in every single department compared to last season. So this is not a shock. And I can't you know, I actually understand. And maybe even no, I'm not even going to say sympathize because I can't sympathize with Anfield supporters. But what I'm going to point out is that, of course, Liverpool fans are expected to be touchy because they're in the same bracket as like a Blackburn and a Leicester with one Premier League title. That cannot be a reign and a dynasty with one Premier League title. That don't cut it. Even Arsenal have three. Arsenal have three. Chelsea have what, 4? Man
Yeah,
City
yeah.
have what, 3? And United have whole of 13. So this was written on the wall, and I find it funny as well that Klopp put on this rant about United and penalties, and it's a penalty sink him today. It's a
Yeah.
penalty sink him today. So I think that Liverpool just played into Burnley's hands. This is the first time since 1974 that Liverpool lost to Burnley at Anfield. This season, and I'm going to ask all Liverpool fans to listen to me very carefully. This season, Liverpool have played the 6 teams in the bottom 6 of the table this season, and they have dropped points in 5 out of the 6 teams. Their only win coming up against Sheffield United. Sorry, the worst team in the league. Their only win in the bottom 6 came against. Now, if you want to show how far they have regressed in comparison to last season, playing all 12 games against the teams at the bottom 6, Liverpool won 11 out of the 12. With their only match they failed to win was the masterclass by Sarr and Troy Deeney and Watford when Watford gave them their first loss last season. I cannot see if any Liverpool fan is going to look at me and say that they have not regressed, then they're just purely being emotional. Logic has to come before emotion. And may I start to agree with Shakes now and wonder if Liverpool are going to even finish in a top 4. Because right now, in a season as this, as congested as ever, with Liverpool having so much injuries and the lack of players to choose from, when European football start back and all of that, this is only going to be to their detriment. And if Liverpool fans believe that they're going to go through the rest of the league and win the rest of their matches, they're sadly missed. Them have more points to drop, and it must Demo. Yeah, I'm a bridging, but me know say it must hurt if it's say the 3 teams above you are the manager that you say is the biggest choker in English football, Pep Guardiola, and your eternal rivals in Manchester United. It is a sad day for Liverpool fans, and it will continue to be a sad season. That's as plain as I see it.
Like,
All right, so Bones, your final take on this whole Liverpool scenario, and I'm sure that you're willing to go at Bobby Firmino, that defensive striker.
me rain to go from 6:15 this evening. My time. Man. Me go talk on behalf of me and Beamer because they're here tonight. You understand? Me talk on behalf of me and him. Because I know you would have kill everybody, right?
I'm in the chat, man. I'm in the chat.
Me know it there. First of all, Mr. Shakes, you said something. Write down everything you say. First of all, you said something about Origi being
Substandard
Liverpool.
play.
No, not substandard play. Everybody knows same fair play for Sheffield United and bottom my league. But you say he's Liverpool's backup striker. No, he's not Liverpool's backup striker. Liverpool backup striker is actually injured right now. And if he wasn't injured, Liverpool would have probably been doing much better than they're doing up front right now. That's Jota I'm talking.
You call Jota a striker?
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. Jota would have brought something different to Klopp's lineup tactically that would have forced him not to start Origi.
Agreed, but Jota is not a striker.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, tactically, it would have bring something different, which would have forced Klopp not to start Origi. You understand? That me I look on. That I decide me I look on. Right?
Okay.
Honestly, Liverpool last 5 games, 3 points, no wins, 2 goals, 1 goal scored, 2 goals against, 3 points gained. For a champion, for a defending champion, that is pretty much very worrying at this time. In the same period, Arsenal have gained 13 points, right? 4 wins. You know,
You really have to mention Arsenal.
4 wins, and in that period, 4 clean sheets as well. I had to get that in, guys. I had to get that in.
So, Bones, are you saying that Arsenal are going to pass Liverpool?
No,
Hold on. Let me speak.
Hold
Hold on a second. Let me speak on behalf of Bones, even though he's here. Bones came out and said that Arsenal Football Club will not, I repeat, will not lose a game in 2021.
Yeah, we won't lose a game in 2021. We're not lose a game in 2021. Me tell you that already. But to the point where you and Jason have met about Liverpool not finishing in the top 4, that is absolute madness. Liverpool will finish in the top 4. They're just
madness,
I never said they won't, I never said they won't.
Finish up. Let Bones finish up.
Listen, they're going through a period. They will come out of the period and they will start doing well again. If you check the league this season, Man U struggled, Arsenal struggled, Chelsea struggling now, Liverpool struggling now, City struggled, Tottenham struggled. All the top 6 teams in the league right now struggled at some point in the league. So listen, it's just a matter of time before Liverpool get a kick on again and really start.
All right, Bones, with you saying that, we shall see. But I'm going to the Liverpool man to get his final thought and where Steve will finish. So, Stephen, where do you see Steve finishing this season?
And I said them will win the league.
Would say third.
What an honest
third, probably.
What an
honestly third, right?
Probably third. Probably, yeah. But I keep saying in England, Liverpool are called the mentality man. It's not like this mentality. Even when they're not playing well, they find something or some way. I said the man them Lehman was like a mentality that they find something out of nothing.
Hold on,
just don't say that this season. So
Steven, hold on though. You kill your own point there because earlier they said that probably it's their mentality that is affecting them. Now you're saying they're known as the mentality monster. So you defeat your whole point, brother. You contradict yourself, fam.
But no, that's what I was saying. No, man, that's what I've been trying to say. The mentality that was there last season, it's like it has been weakened. So it's like it's showing their skill level and their confidence in each other. and the plans that they had last season. They're just not playing with that confidence. That's why I'm saying it look like it's there for whatever reason. I don't know.
Alright, but
So I
me and
don't call
Shakes
the
kind of
mentality
disagree. Me and
monsters.
Shakes disagree with that still, because me and Shakes say, yo, clap is being clapped right now. But, alright, guys, with that being said, we have come to the end of the live, and we touched on quite a few topics this night. First, we started off with basketball, and Shakes was there from the beginning to discuss it. Jason also. Bones was here, but he was sitting like a man on the bench. Don't have a clue about basketball.
What a boy.
He was like the wingman tonight when it comes down to basketball discussion. We also had Craig Francis passing through to clear up some issues on the Legacy Athletic Club and contradiction and a lot of things that was being spewed in the media. So again, we thank him for passing through and for clearing up certain things that we wanted to get out of the media, in which it will still be there, but at least he came and cleared up some things, even though in beat on the question. Don't think me forget it. And respect to Stephen Gerrard Lang for coming through. His fellow cop Demo turned a wimped out of the show tonight because of a loss all over social media telling people don't tag him and don't disturb him and all those things. But all that being said, we had quite a good show tonight, touched on different topics, and I want to say thank you to all the viewers. We saw at least 30 viewers at one point tonight. And again, big up to Josh Carl, the producer, for making this possible. Man has been working overtime, as I said earlier yesterday, and he just keep on doing the good work. Anthony Butler, remember to link the man. The man paycheck must be ready, so Anthony Butler, link the man. And we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Let's Care Medical. Let's Care Medical, visit them at shop number 5 Juice Plaza. And their CEO, Mr. Shakes himself, resident analyst of this program. Make sure so you go check out the thing, man. And don't just there so if you just support the life alone. Make sure so you support Shakes as well, because he has been our first sponsor on board, and we're looking forward to having more sponsors now. But for now, he's the title sponsor. Let's Care Medical. Remember, visit them at shop number 5 Joseph Plaza in Mandeville. Thank you, Bones. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Stephen. And thank you, Shakes, for passing through once again.
Levan, we just want to send out hearty condolence to Demo and how he's feeling right now. We understand, and we just want him to take it easy and everything. He's a fellow analyst, so we just have to take care of our own.
Alright, Demo, just drink like the NSA where they come here with the other day and be ready for the show tomorrow. So guys, until then, so long, peace out. We'll be here tomorrow again, 8:05 p.m. Shakes more than likely will be here, so stay tuned, because someone who loves Shakes for the controversy, while someone who said Shakes chat a lot of intelligent nonsense. Anyways, peace out, stay safe, bless up on yourself.